To buy a condo or not? That is exactly what we're talking about this week. But before we do, just a little bit of house cleaning. I'm Chris Nelson with Gemstone Realty, and this channel is all about real estate advice, tips, and tech. So if any of that excites you, you're in the right place. But do me a favor, drop me a comment, hit that thumbs up, consider subscribing, and mash that bell so that you're notified of my future content. So first and foremost, what is the difference between a condo and every other home? Well, when you buy or own real estate, there really are two different types of ownership. There's fee simple and there's condo fee simple. And the easiest way for me to describe this is by giving you an example. When you own a property that is fee simple, regardless of the design of the home, you own everything. You own the exterior as well as the interior of the home. But when you own a condo or a home that is referred to as condo fee simple, you own the inside walls in. So things such as the roof, the windows, or any of the exterior of the property is not owned by you. So now that you have an idea of what a condo is, let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons of buying a condo here in Pennsylvania. So let's start with a few of the pros. Well, the first thing and probably the biggest thing when it comes to buying a condo is that it is maintenance-free living. Aside from cleaning up inside your house, everything else is taken care of for you. So things like cutting the grass or trimming the trees or bushes, or even keeping up with the mulch outside, removing the snow, replacing windows, replacing the roof. All of these different things are things that you don't have to worry about when you own a condo. These are things that the association will handle. So when I say it's maintenance-free living, it literally is just that. The other pro to owning a condo is you have what I refer to as lock and leave living. You literally do that. You lock your door and you leave. So for those who like to travel, this is ideal because you don't have to worry about the mail piling up in your mailbox or the grass or the weeds becoming overgrown, and then you're getting fined by the township or any of these other things that come along with having to own a property where you're fully responsible for the exterior maintenance. You don't have to worry about your pipes freezing if you live in an area where you experience cold winters, and you don't have to worry about people riding around looking at your house wondering if it's vacant and not secure, right? So you literally can lock your door and leave. Another positive thing that comes along with living in a condo is that you generally get amenities. And by amenities, I mean things such as an on-site pool, maybe a gym, or even a common area where you can host if you are having a party, or maybe there's a dedicated area for you to walk your dog or a little dog park. These are all little amenities that some condos offer. Some condos offer multiple amenities when some offer only a few, but either way, there usually are some amenities or frills that comes along with living in a condominium. Another positive thing to keep in mind is that when you own a condominium, your homeowner's insurance is generally a lot less than if you were to buy a single family home. And the reason for that is because the insurance company knows that in the event of some type of disaster, the odds of them having to pay you out a large sum of money in comparison to a property that they would have to rebuild is slim. So to give you an example, if there was a fire and that fire did impact your condo, usually the insurance company is only worried about the interior walls and your content or personal belonging. But if you were to own a fee simple home and that house were to catch fire, well, the insurance company has something that's referred to as a replacement value or a replacement cost. And that cost usually is for the insurance company to say, well, if this house burnt to the ground and we had to rebuild it, how much would that cost? And because that number is significantly more than what it would be for a condo, well, as you can see, the numbers are just generally skewed because of that. So there are, in my opinion, and I do emphasize opinion, some of the pros about living in a condominium. So now let's jump into what I think some of the cons are. And before we get into it, there are a few more cons, in my opinion, then there are pros. The first thing to consider is that when you are living in a condominium, it is multi-family living. You generally have neighbors, and quite a bit of them. You'll have neighbors potentially to the left, right, above, and below, depending exactly where your unit is inside the condominium. So if you're someone who isn't very social or doesn't want to live in a home where your neighbors are right on top of you, well, a condominium probably is not for you. The other con, in my opinion, is that you have no say on the exterior appeal. And the same thing goes for common areas such as the hallways or the meeting areas that the condominium offers. Because you don't own the exterior, nor are you required to maintain the exterior, it's really up to whatever the association feels is necessary. So if they want to put an odd color front door and odd color shutters, or maybe they want to plant landscaping that really just isn't attractive to you, unfortunately, you have no say. You kind of have to go with the flow because, well, you have no say. To add to the cons, limited parking and limited storage. In most situations, condominiums are apartment style or one floor type of living. Now again, this does not apply to all condominiums. There are some condominiums that are out there that actually give you a townhouse feel where there may be multiple floors to your home, your own private entrance, and possibly even a garage. But here in Pennsylvania, they are few and far between, and the majority of condominiums are actually like an apartment. And when you look at the overall living situation, a lot of condos give you 1 or 2 deeded parking spaces. So if you have more than 2 cars, or you have guests over quite often, that could be an issue. And if you're someone like me who has too much content, finding storage or a place to put that over time may be a challenge. Condominiums usually are not homes that people look to grow into because they are limited on space. A lot of times they're great for first-time home buyers, someone looking to live in a location for a short period of time, or maybe even someone downsizing. So keep in mind that if you are looking for a condo, storage and parking could be limited. Some condominiums offer a storage space inside the condo, but they're not necessarily right in your apartment, which could be a challenge if you want your stuff really at arm's reach. Let's talk about the noise. Well, when you live in a condo, there is going to be some noise because you have neighbors, and those neighbors are usually very, very close to you. Now, some people prefer to be on the bottom floor. Some people prefer to be on the top floor. A lot of people who live on the first floor, they're subject to the noise from the floor above, and the people on the top floor, well, they're subject to a lengthy set of steps or an elevator ride when they're doing things like bringing groceries in, walking the dog, or whatever the situation may be. So there's pros and cons to both, but they usually will come with a little bit of extra noise because of the overall type of living conditions. Now, earlier when we spoke about amenities, and those are things that are by far a pro. The pool, the exercise room, not having to cut the grass, all of those things, well, they're great, but they come at an expense. And condos are going to have what's referred to as a monthly association fee. Those fees helps them maintain the property and also provide some of these services. So they're not free, and to be honest, those fees usually don't go down. Over time, the fees usually go up, and some condos even have a capital contribution fee, which is a fee that is collected by the buyer at the time of settlement, and it is a one-time fee, but they can be hefty. And the last con when it comes to buying a condo in Pennsylvania is that not all of these condominiums are FHA approved. Now, a few years back, there actually was some new regulation and mandates put in place that helps these condos that are not currently FHA approved to become FHA approved. But if you're an FHA buyer, you may come to find out that the condominium that you love isn't FHA approved. And you may also find out that a condominium that you live in, although maybe FHA certified now, may not be when you go to sell the property, which could limit your pool of buyers. So at the end of the day, folks, that's my opinion on the pros and cons when it comes to living in a condominium versus a single family or a fee simple style home. But do me a favor, if you live in a condo, tell me what it is you like or maybe you don't like about that type of lifestyle. And if you're considering living in a condo and you have some insight that maybe I overlooked, well, I'd love to hear from you too. With all of that being said, hopefully you found some value to this video. Tune in next week for the very next Just a Tip Tuesday with Chris. Until then, take care.